Uncensored.
It's time, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the podcast that is all about intellectually immature nonsense.
Are a very particular set of skills.
And by God, this is the BS.
Uncensored.
Hey, there it is. Turn me down there, Dougie T. Turn the bed down.
There you go.
There we go. Episode 19 of the BS Uncensored. Thanks for being here. My name's Jason Bailey. There's NickyD.
That is me.
There's Nelson. Huh? Can you not hear us? And a deaf Dougie T. Deaf Dougie T. Did you get the Super Bowl boxes we picked at work?
I sure did.
I got the last three. Nelson, did you get on any of this?
I didn't know if they'd want me to do it from afar.
Why not? You
I
can
don't
send
know.
money from afar to get a box.
Venmo.
I could have, yeah. Well,
Times are changing.
times are tight, is what they are.
All right, Nikki. What? Let me find you. Did you see the end result, right?
No.
Oh yeah, the numbers they put in there. Now here's
What does that mean?
What do you mean? What does it mean?
You said, do I see the end result? The game hasn't happened yet. Don't I have to wait?
Oh, bless your heart. So no, they pick numbers, and the top numbers and the side numbers, and each quarter they have to match up. So there you go. You have a 7 and a 1. So if any time at the end of a quarter, Kansas City has a 7 at the end of their score, and San Francisco has a 1 at the end of their score, you will win.
Oh, wow.
Those are good numbers to have.
Okay.
Oh yeah, 27-21 going into the fourth quarter. Yeah, you're winning.
And then you also have a 7 and a 5.
Okay.
Okay, 5 not the greatest number.
It's not?
No, because you have to think how are you going to get 5 points?
I think of 5 touchdowns is the first natural place to get that out.
See, that's why they didn't have the numbers in there before, because people would pick based on the numbers.
Yeah, that's how the game works. Yeah, that's
so
not
they are
something new here.
Tricky.
No, it's not tricky.
It's tricky.
Oh my God! Remind me never to bet with her or take her with me or talk to her about it.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God! Now something a little. You also have 8 and 3.
Yeah.
Which is
All right, 8 and 3 is not bad.
And here's the thing about the squares now versus how they used to be, because of the way the NFL works. They go for 2 often.
Mm-hmm.
So to have a score of 8 instead of 7, or even a 6 instead of a 5, or I'm sorry, a 5 instead of a 4, or a 6 instead of a 4. You know what I mean? You have a lot better chances now.
Okay, because 3 is a field goal. Aha.
3 is a field goal, correct?
But just a field goal.
Yes,
So
just
like-
a field goal. Yeah. And how many points if you miss?
If you miss a field goal?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you get points if you miss?
Yeah.
5.
No. You get 5 if you miss, but 3
Why
if you
would
hit
you
it.
get more?
Oh, if you miss, because I thought it went to the other team.
No.
So even if you miss it, you still get points?
Yes.
You get 0.
Right. 0 points.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
get-
tricked me.
You get 0 points.
He definitely did, yes.
You tricked me.
You
I'm
get
like, I never knew that.
You get 0 points. I've got an 8 and a 4. I'm nailing this 8. I got the last 3 boxes.
Yeah.
I got an 8 and a 5, and then I got a 6 and a 5. So we'll see how
So
that
5
goes.
could be on your side.
All right. Here's the thing is that, usually you don't see some of these numbers being whited out.
Mm-hmm.
That concerns me
Why?
because it means they changed it.
Right. And why did they change it?
And why did they
Oh.
change it? And then you start to look at the boxes and who's in those boxes that they changed.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see the big boss in the center box.
Okay.
Mm.
In the center box. I see me in the center box.
No, right below you.
Below me. Oh, okay.
Where you see where the number's been white out, 9.
Oh, I do.
And you go over and you see her name, and then she's got 9 and 9.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
what?
I'm not saying that's I mean, 0 is the best number to have.
Right.
Which JCN, whoever that is, has.
Oh, okay.
So I believe that's the sales girl
I thought that was a sales guy.
or sales guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. It's California. It depends.
Oh, I got you.
You never know what's going on. What were you going to say, Doug? Oh,
I was
you in
gonna
here?
I remember it was a couple years ago. I can't remember what game it was, but they opened it up with a safety. So all of a sudden the score was 2-0.
Seattle, Denver.
Yep,
Yeah,
there you
Doug's
go.
on here. Doug's on here.
Seattle, Denver. And you know how I know that and remember that? because it was 2013, I want to say, and Peyton Manning, Russell Wilson, and I had just gone to Atlanta, and I was doing sports talk radio at the time, worst year of my life.
Uh-oh.
And I was going through all the bets and the prop bets.
Right, and that was a huge prop bet for that to be the first score.
And I was, I always look for the plus big, right? And so it was like +4. Okay, how it was worded was +400 for Seattle to get a safety, or for Seattle, to get a safety. What that means is a safety against them.
Oh, okay.
So the first play of the game, and I'm talking this up like just playing the radio bit of, because I knew there's no way it's going to happen.
Right.
First play of the game, Denver, safety. I'm like, oh my God. I bet it wrong.
Oh, no.
I bet it wrong.
Oh, no.
I did. I bet it wrong.
Dang. So then I need to now print this out, have it for the game so I can keep up with my money.
Or you can take a picture, download it in your phone. Yes, numerous ways to do
print
it.
I want to write on it.
Dougie T's got 2 and 2. That sucks.
Yeah.
5 and 6. Okay, I see you.
He has 1 and 8.
9 and 4. 1 and 8.
Yep.
Okay, you got a little action in there.
Crapshoot.
You know what I was going to do? I was going to buy the whole box. I was going to buy the whole thing and see if they'd let me do it.
Oh, it was already filled up.
I know.
Crazy fast.
See, here's the thing: is the guy that put this together in the office. I talked to him before he put the thing out for everybody to get it. So I was a little pissed off about that because I was like, I'm right here and you're putting it together. Like I thought it was going to I didn't know 5 minutes later he was going to do it.
Oh yeah, he did it.
Oh, you thought it was in construction.
I thought it was in construction.
Mm-hmm.
So if I would have known that, I would have bought all the squares.
But that wouldn't have been fair.
Yeah, well,
hold
fair.
on. Here's what you do, okay? I buy all the squares, and then I sell them for $10 a square.
Oh.
So-
you're going to come up.
So, yeah, I'm not only going to win, but I've also made money.
Gotcha.
See what I'm saying?
Jesus.
Because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 10 across is $500. So I'm down $450, and I'm still going to win.
What do you do if at the end?
I know.
It is
so stupid.
What do
It's
you
like
do
an
if
infant.
at the end of the quarter multiple people are on it, or it's only one person can win? Because I thought you were giving multiple people the wins.
You can't have multiple winners, Nikki.
That's
only
the
one
whole
person,
point of the box.
That's the whole point of the box.
Okay.
I
That's
had
why
I had multiple winners at my party because I had numerous boxes. I had $5 boxes, $10 boxes, $25 boxes,
Oh, okay.
and $100 boxes.
Like I knew I saw you handing out $80 to multiple people.
I think she was talking about the quarters, too. So you get different winners for each quarter.
Yeah, I see that,
No, you have one winner for each quarter.
Mhm.
Right. One winner.
but not multiple per quarter. Gotcha.
No, not multiple per quarter. What were you saying, Nelson?
I don't even know. She got me so confused with all the numbers she was
Are
tossing
you
out.
kidding me?
I know it's painful to listen to this.
Oh, it was the that's why there's a 6 and a 5 and a 6 and a 5. So there's one time, right? The grid is set up so that on one side it's San Francisco's score ends in a 6 and Kansas City's score ends in a 5, and then there's a flip side box bet to that.
I'm going to VPN so I can do some real prop bets.
You just don't want to drive the 2 hours.
Nah, I'm not going to do that. And plus, I don't want to. Usually, you have to go there and collect. Yeah, unless I went across state lines and took my laptop.
Yeah.
You know, because here in California, sports betting is illegal. In the past, what I've done is just gone on Bovado, which is an offshore site. But I got to tell you, the last couple of years has not been a good experience. One, they keep upping their credit card fees when they charge it. So you have to, you know, if you're going to be up, I mean, you're already in the hole, right? It's like an extra $40. It's a ridiculous charge. I've been hacked numerous times.
Yep.
And the other thing is when you cash out, Bovado really pushes you to cash out with Bitcoin. So if you want a check, that's all I want is a check. It's a whole thing. And I remember last year, because I was moving here last year at the time, I'd cashed out for like $150, $156 or something. It wasn't much. And I had the check in my truck, and I tried to mobile deposit it. And for some reason, my bank wouldn't take the mobile deposit. So I just had it in my truck. I was like, well, I'll wait till I get to Vegas, and I'll cash out there. I ended up losing the check, and it was endorsed because I had mobile deposited. So it's now endorsed. So I finally get a hold of somebody at Bovado, and they're like, go fuck yourself.
Dang, they
So-
weren't giving you another one.
So I was like, you know what? I'm done with y'all. I'm not going to do it. It's too much of a pain in the ass.
Right.
Makes
you know.
sense.
So I'm going to try to get on, like, do DraftKings through VPN or BetMGM through VPN. You know,
I could never get it to work. I tried DraftKings through the VPN, and I just I'm not smart enough to VPN.
well, I got a guy.
It's fair.
So I got a guy that's setting it up. So we'll figure that out here. But is this the only betting you plan on doing, or you want to do some prop bets?
Well, I want to do the prop bets too, but I need to know how. But I don't want to go on the website and do all that stuff.
I can
wanna
put I can put prop bets in for you here and just give you the money.
Oh, yeah. There we go. I totally could do that.
Oh yeah. I want to do prop bets.
Yeah, like I'm 20 minutes away from a sports book, let alone doing it in DraftKings. Like I can go to Caesars and make sports bets.
Yeah, no, I'd rather you just go into DraftKings.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I just would have to know what they are. So if you can like print them out or download them and let me know, and we can go through them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how much are you going to put out there?
$5.
No, you can't do that.
Aren't the bets $5 each?
No, that's for these boxes at work, Nikki. There's a lot of betting out there.
Well, then what am I supposed to put out?
I mean, like you go like 500.
Oh no way!
Take $100.
Crazy.
Take
No.
$100.
Yeah, take $100 and do $25 prop bets. You could do that.
Maybe.
$5 does nothing.
What do you mean it does nothing?
You're going to make one prop bet for $5.
This sheet says that if I win, I get 100 and
Nikki, this isn't prop bets.
Yeah, but still, this is a lot of money.
Okay, yeah, that's the squares at work.
Oh my God, Nikki.
Prop bets are different, like first score touchdown.
Right.
You know,
What do I get for that?
it depends on what the line is.
Let me see what the lines
I need
are.
to see. I need to see what the lines are and what I need to put in. I'm
Do
not just
not
throwing
say-
money in.
Do not say I need to see what the lines are
I do.
so casually.
I know.
As if you have any idea what that means.
I know.
Nelson, I can say it how I want to say it. You just let me see the lines.
You're ridiculous.
Got to see the lines.
You got to read between the lines.
You're going to run into some drug addict and you're like, hey, look, I'm looking for lines. Super Bowl's coming up.
Listen, I had a drug addict take my pictures for me in Philly. My friend still talks about that to this day.
Why? Because you, asked for lines?
No, because we just stopped at this store that she used to always go to, and it's on the corner, and there was a guy standing there, and I said, hey, take our picture. And she's like, do you know those are drug dealers? I'm like, well, they're nice drug dealers. He took our picture.
You know what? Most drug dealers are actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I didn't feel afraid.
Criminals aren't always like the worst people in the world.
No.
They do bad shit. You know, like I always say this, like the true criminal is only bad to the people that he needs to be bad to.
Right. Whoever's
Exactly.
involved in their stuff.
It's the amateur criminal, you know, that goes out there, the carjackers, those type,
Purse snatchers.
your purse snatchers. Though not the true criminal. The true criminals, like the guy that's running this drug business, nice people.
Very nice.
You know, the guy that's got the prostitutes,
Yep.
nice guy,
Yep.
right? You know what I mean?
Not so much to her, but
The
to
money
me.
laundering guy, you know, really good people. You know, now the dickhead that's going out there carjacking and snatching purses and doing home invasions, they're not real criminals.
No.
They're just assholes,
Exactly.
right?
They might not take my picture.
So, I mean, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yep.
You know, there's a different level of criminal, and a true criminal is actually a really nice person.
I agree with you.
They just do bad shit, but they don't want to hurt anybody.
No, but people are afraid for no reason.
No reason whatsoever. It's the asshole guys, the ones that you need to profile.
It's the guys that actually look normal that in this case now you need to be afraid of because they're serial killers.
I agree. Absolutely. Hands down. We got to start doing this maybe occasionally in the Golden Scissors studio. I just bought this new camera, and I didn't realize because I was looking for something to zoom in on me, and like webcams don't have good zoom. So I bought, which is really used for video conferencing, and and it rotates. You got a remote control. You can rotate it and you can move it, and it's all automated. It's really cool.
Nice.
Wasn't that expensive either. I didn't realize how fucking big this thing is.
Oh my God, no.
It looks like it's like the size because it's round. It looks like the siren that Starsky and Hutch used to put on the top of their hood.
Oh, that's
Okay.
big.
Yeah, it's-
Where do you even have that sitting at?
I got it where my old camera is in the middle of my ring light. It fits.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, right? I haven't used it yet. I haven't put it together yet.
Well, that makes sense to me, though, because if it's known for its zoom, then it needs to be big, because the problem with these webcams most of the time is that they just do a digital zoom. So they just like upscale the picture and like zoom in that way, like you would look at a photo on your phone. What this one, I'm assuming, does is actually focuses the lens so that the lens will zoom in on you, which makes it a cleaner zoom.
Well, so I'm getting ready. I'm working on launching a new podcast with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to call it The Empty Nesters.
Nice.
And we're going to document our time leading up to our daughter going off to the University of Alabama.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, I thought that.
That'll be fun.
Between us, one of the big reasons why I want to do it, I think therapy for me and especially for her. I think the more she can talk about it,
she'll be okay.
And knowing that it's in kind of like an entertainment-esque setting. You know, I'm not doing this for fortune and fame or trying to get likes and downloads. It's really more therapeutic than anything else.
Oh, that was a good idea.
Yeah, so Rach is going, I mean, I'm going to struggle. It's going to be tough, but Rach is going to be a fucking mess.
Dang.
I mean, I can only imagine, like in my head, every day I think about this shit. Like as soon as we drop her off in August to the University of Alabama, we're going to come back. Rach is going to be like, she's going to cheat on me. She's going to do drugs. She's going to be a prostitute. She's going to do something crazy. Right?
She's not going to do anything crazy. What she's going to do, though, be ready to be alone in that house a lot, because she's going to be spending a lot of time wherever your daughter is living at in Alabama. You know what I mean?
I don't think that, because, I mean, she still has to work, and it's not right down the street. It's a bit of a hike.
Yeah.
You know?
I bet she finds every excuse she can to fly out there.
Okay. Is that you're putting your money on?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's not gonna. What's she gonna do? She's not gonna step out on you.
That'd be dumb.
Big Daddy Bang Bang. What are you talking about?
Way.
I love it when the chicks leave me because they look back and they go, I missed out.
Big time. Big time.
Every single one of them bitches got that tattooed up and down.
On their back.
They missing out on what?
Say tramp stamp.
It is in my house.
Ridiculous.
I know. You know, I don't know, man. She's going to go through some kind of change.
She's definitely going to have a hard time because she's really close with Ariel. And I'm close to my daughter too, but I'm like ready for her to leave. She is one of those parents that she wants her there. Like if she stayed there forever, she probably wouldn't care.
No,
just like people who want their dogs to live forever.
Right. Yeah, I know. Those crazy parents and dog lovers.
Right, who love their kids.
I think worst case scenario, she'll probably get fat, right? She'll probably put on some pounds. So I'll have to figure out how to deal with that.
She could be doing a little depressed eating, but no, I think she might find some more activities to do, like community wise, like find her a group of ladies and hang out or do charity work, or she's going to find something to keep herself busy for sure.
That's when you get in trouble. Y'all have the same problem. You too. Is y'all need this, like, that you yearn for this friendship with these total fucking strangers. and like, none of y'all listen to me. Because you can't make friends at this stage in life. You can make acquaintances, but you can't make friends. I'm talking about people that you can trust with everything. Because what happens is once you develop that relationship that soon, and then all you want to do is open up, right? And you start opening up, they think you're fucking crazy. Like, oh my God, what did I just accept into my life right now? And now you're becoming a burden more than, like, we just had fun the other day. Why are you telling me about this shit with your tits and stuff? Like, I don't care.
No, you can have friends at this age. It's just, it's a little bit harder. It's a lot harder, not a little bit harder, but
it's a lot.
I still think it can be done. I haven't figured it out yet of how, but I think it could be done.
Y'all got to stop trusting people. Wife did the same thing. I'm not just beating up, like, all y'all. Anybody with titty tits. You all just want to trust people.
Because most of the time when you're meeting other women, especially our age, they're not malicious. At least you don't think they are, but things are a little bit different.
Well, here's the thing. I agree with you. Again, I don't think they're being malicious, but they got big fucking mouths. And what they do is, in order to have a conversation, no woman, period, the end of story, especially middle-aged, can have a conversation without keeping somebody else's name in their mouth. Right?
Yep.
That's true.
Yes.
They've got to be like, oh, especially like a you or my wife, because you're on the radio, right? You're a public figure.
Right.
You know who I was hanging out with the other day? Who? NickyD from The Bailey Show on the radio station and shit. Really? How cool was that? Great. Little fucking crazy. Real, like a lot alone, talking weird shit. Fucking, that radio station works out. Crazy people work there. Let me tell you about this one guy she works with. And now, because they think they've got the inside tell.
And I'm going to agree with you on that because I did that with what I thought was my new little friend I made here. And she went and repeated everything she heard anywhere she was at around me. I'm like, good grief, can you keep your mouth shut?
No. That's why you DTA. And if you are going to trust somebody, then you got to turn into a liar because then you've got to kick it back. Then you got to go like, that bitch could be crazy.
Yep.
Like you think I'm going to say, that's why I don't talk to her anymore because she's nuts.
I know.
So then, no, I'm saying this is the hypothetical. I mean, this is then these people that listen to her.
believing you. I know.
I thought he was talking about somebody in particular.
No. Then these people will believe you because they're closer to you and you have to flip the scripts. You have to control the narrative.
Well, in this case, my narrative was right.
You have to gaslight that person from afar.
Correct. Correct. I tell my wife the same thing. I mean, unfortunately, her old friends, I was like, it's fine. We'll keep them at a distance. I like them too. I enjoy hanging out, but there's only so much to share. You don't, because people will turn on you in a heartbeat. And I'm like, just DTA. It's me and you against the world. And that's how you keep it. Because, here's what you got to ask yourself. When you think somebody's your friend, will they be there holding your hand on your deathbed?
I mean, yeah. That's a good analogy to have for that. Everybody that I call my friend, I feel they will do that, yes.
Okay. If you think that they'll be there, they'll fly far and wide, high and low, hell and high water. And they'll be there to hold your hand one last time on your deathbed as you take your last breath. That's your friend.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So I'm going to be alone on my deathbed.
But it doesn't mean that we still don't yearn for friends. Yeah. We want friends.
Who the fuck wants friends? Just have acquaintances.
Not enough friends. Yeah. Not enough friends.
They're such a pain in the ass.
That's such a woman thing to still be trying to cultivate new friends.
Yeah.
It's like you guys shed friends.
No, because you won't want to go out and do everything by yourself. You want a friend that you can hang out with, somebody you can talk to, girl time. You need friends.
I know, but we made all of those 20 years ago.
Right.
No, I still have friends that I've met within the last 10 years that are very close. And if I died tomorrow, they'd be there to hold my hand.
Listen, nothing is black.
I know.
No.
I know. I have a very good friend group. You won't
Then what's
tear
your
down
problem?
My friend group. They're not here. I'm in a whole nother state by myself. I have to make new friends. None of my friends live here.
Zoom.
Okay, that only goes so far. You still need, if I want to go out somewhere tomorrow, I have nobody to go with.
Zoom.
No.
Put them on your phone.
No, I don't. I do that now. Sit in restaurants on my phone talking to my friends because I don't have one here.
You're a loser. Oh,
no, I'm not a loser. It's just,
no, she's not.
It's just what I have to do. I'm by myself, and sometimes I want to talk and not just be sitting there eating, looking like a weirdo.
Oh God, you know what? You got to learn to be by yourself.
I don't have
great.
a problem being by
that.
myself. You just don't want to be that way all the time.
What do you mean, fuck what? Being by yourself?
Just by forever be by yourself? You got to have people around at some point.
Right. And at least I used to have Nelson. Now I don't have Nelson. So now I'm just eating by myself.
Oh, I'm a loner, Dottie. I love being by myself. I like going to the movies by myself. I like going to get food by myself.
Now that's
no
sad.
way.
Going to the movies by yourself is sad. And I've done it a few times. And I've gotten in there and I'm sitting in the dark and I'm like, it's fine. Nobody can see me. It's dark. But in the inside, I was sad. I was happy about the movie I was seeing, but I was like looking around and the couples are together. And I'm like, there's not one man that wants to couple with me. That's crazy.
You know what I really like to do by myself?
What?
I like dancing by myself.
What?
In the dark.
To what?
Bruce Springsteen and Billy Idol.
Yeah, right. Dancing with myself. It took me till The Boss. I didn't get it at first. I got it at The Boss. I'll be honest.
I combined Billy Idol and Bruce Springsteen. Day made.
I was like, isn't it Dancing in the Dark? And then you did Dancing in the Dark, and I go, oh, yeah, Billy Idol.
Yeah.
Good job, Nelson.
Well played. Well played.
A penis is in your belly button. Poo.
It's a deep belly button.
Negative. Time out.
See? You don't need
We might be a
that with
perfect fit.
I want to bring this up.
That was a heavy sigh.
I know.
'Cause
Well, he's
It's
gonna
you
get
guys,
sad.
Yeah.
he's world weary.
I'm about to get a little deep
He's
on
gonna
you.
get sad.
I'm going to drop some deep knowledge on yos. So, see, I don't need friends because I got y'all listening. And even if you're not listening, I think you're listening.
Right.
Right.
It's mine. You're listening.
As long as I have a microphone in front of me and headphones on, I'm fine. But I want to be honest with you about something. Is last week, every once in a while, okay, there will be a death of a named individual, celebrity-esque or celebrity, that hits me. And it doesn't hit me because I knew them. You know, Bob Saget was a little bit different because he was like radio's best friend. You know, everybody in radio knew him. Bob and I, you know, my first date with my wife was with Bob. You know, we hung out and at the bar after the show, and that day on the air was probably one of the most fun days I've ever had on the radio when we just reenacted Full House and all. It was just good. And, you know, and I'd known Bob, you know, for years every time he'd come in town. No different than any other radio guy. You know, I'm not more important, but to me that was special. So that one hurt personally. Yeah, what? You got your shit going and I'm telling a deep story.
I did not
It is
realize that
about-
was gonna happen.
Jesus.
It is about time you plug her up, though.
So last week, porn star Jessie Jane died, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
From a drug overdose.
a drug overdose. Her and her boyfriend. She was 43 years of age.
I'll bet my whole paycheck fentanyl is involved.
Probably so.
Probably so. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Just based on what I've seen from the police report and the both of them dying at the same time in a drug overdose, like
It just makes sense, right? Because that's how.
Oh, I didn't know both of them died at the same time. I thought just she died.
they're both dead.
Dang.
So Jessie Jane, I again did not know her well, but there was a day and age in this business, in the radio business, where you know, that was the thing for rock radio, guy-oriented radio. You know, like it was Playboy girls and penthouse girls and porn stars and stuff like that. And truth be told, I never like personally was that guy. Like I never really was into it, but I just assumed that that's what I was kind of supposed to do. And it was, I mean, we were all the watered down Howard Stern, right? I mean, listeners had no problem, diehard Stern fans, calling you up and telling you that. But you were making whatever the best out of the situation for your local audience, right? I don't think everyone was copying Howard Stern. It's just that's what radio was at the time. We were juicing the tail end of the latest sex revolution.
Right.
Because it's not that anymore. I mean, it's a weird sex revolution that we live in now. It's weird, right? You see girls that are influencers that are making millions of dollars. Why? Because they're smart? Because they've got great bodies and they put the pictures and the videos on Instagram.
Yep, that's why.
That's
And OnlyFans.
And OnlyFans, right. That's the sex sells. But then you have this different mindset in the year 2024. It's like, my body, it's no shaming, fat rolls, it's hot, it's cool, don't talk about it, don't hit on me because then you're sexist. You know, like, so it's very confusing. I'd hate to be single. But anyway, in the mid-2000s, the late 2000s, we didn't have those problems. We didn't have the Me Too stuff. We didn't have all this bullshit in between, you know, and it was what it was, right? So, and don't get it twisted where I'm not, you know what I mean? It was just a different day and age. And so these girls would come to the studio, and I'd always try to be creative. And at the time, I was in Orlando, and then Tampa was when Jessie would come in often. She was in like often, like a lot. And I had a really good relationship more with Penthouse, a woman named Lainey. Actually, if you check out Lainey's book, there is a blurb about me and a lady that used to be in the porn business and Penthouse and whatnot.
Oh.
It was a very interesting evening that we shared. Actually, it was the night of right before the Super Bowl in Tampa.
Okay.
Anyway, so I would do like bits with her, like a bit called Change is Good, you know, and Jessie would take her top off and we'd put as many coins between her breasts and we'd have an intern. She'd straddle an intern and we'd, you know, have listeners guess how much change the intern was going to catch and they could keep it because they work for free, and you would get the sound of the change hitting his teeth and all that kind of stuff. You know, stupid shit, dumb shit. I know when you say it out loud, you're like, God, that radio sucks. Maybe, but at the time it was funny. I used to do a bit called Muff Madden on Fridays. We'd have girls, sometimes, the higher end girls like Jessie, but sometimes just strippers. And we'd have 2 girls in the studios and 2 listeners, and they'd play Madden throughout the show. And whenever they scored, a girl would take off an article of clothing, and whoever undressed the girl first by scoring the most touchdowns would win. And what made the bit was throughout the show, we would stop anything and everything once they score. I mean, I could be in the middle of, my grandfather died last night. Score! So it was kind of funny. Those videos still exist out on YouTube somewhere. But those are the things that we would do. Mm-hmm. And it was fun. Again, I wasn't 100% into it personally.
Right.
Like, I always felt guilty because, either if I was dating somebody or married, I thought it was a little disrespectful. Mm-hmm. And I had to always come back, and if they were to get upset and say, look, like, what other job outside of working at a strip club if you were in a monogamous, serious relationship, ask a girl to take off her clothes?
Not one.
You know what I mean? And then talk about it and exploit her. So it
will
always
be an issue.
It always made me feel dirty, right?
I can agree with that.
And so it was never my thing. And I always just come on and be like, oh, it's just for the radio, and play that card, and which is a cop out. It's like I cheated because I was drunk.
Right.
It was a total cop out. But anyway, I guess my point is when I learned that Jessie Jane had passed away at the age of 43, I always get upset about these people in my life, me personally in my life, that when they pass, it's like the end of an era.
I can see that because it brings back all these memories, like what you just brought up and things that you did. And now you can never, like 10 years from now, run into this person and say, hey, you remember when? Because now they're not here. So it's like kind of that part of your life, even though it's not something you do now. It's like you can't even go back to possibly reminisce with said person or say, you remember we did that, because they're gone.
Yeah, and it makes you feel old.
Yes, that too.
Because, she's 43, I'm 48.
Mm-hmm.
This was in my late 20s, early 30s kind of stuff.
Right.
Which to me doesn't seem that long ago, but it was.
It was.
By my math standards, it was. So you look at it and you go, man, it's been that long.
And here we are.
And I just can never, it's tough for me to accept today, right? I'm not a big looking in the, I know this is going to sound a little hypocritical. I'm not a big looking in the past guy. Like I don't live off of things that I've done, right? Mm-hmm. I'm a very forward thinking guy, but when it comes to stuff like this, not just celebrities, but just anybody in my life, that I've crossed paths with, whether I was close to them or not, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Like when I see a professional wrestler that dies that as a kid I grew up watching, maybe I never met that person, but I used to get up every Saturday morning, jump in front of that television and watch Mean Gene Okerlund or Greg Gagne and AWA or whatever what I am watching, WWF. And they were in the ring and knowing that they were at the high point of their lives, and now they're gone.
They're gone. It makes you reminisce about it. I had something not as grand as yours, but something similar with how it makes you feel when you go back to that time period. When I went wine tasting this past weekend, I told a story there of how I got introduced to wine, and I've never told it out loud, and saying it, I'm like, oh my goodness, I wasn't even of age yet. I think I was 17, and this lady I work with, I used to go to her house after school, and her husband was teaching me how to play dominoes. Mainly her husband was teaching me. And one day I was over playing dominoes with him as a child. Again, this story sounds horrible.
It does.
And all of a sudden he says, I made some homemade wine. Do you want to try it? And he pulls out this jar from underneath the sink of some wine he made.
Getting worse.
Some fermented fruit. And he poured me a glass. And that's the first time I've ever tasted wine. Again, creepy sounding story when I say it out loud. Yeah. But it was normal to me at the time. So every time I drink wine, I think about this guy. And this is what makes the story worse, is my friend whose husband this was. I loved her to death. We kept in touch, and then we fell off. I reunited with her like 10 years ago via Facebook and found out that he was in prison because he tried to kill her. He stabbed her like 30-something times.
Jesus.
And she was almost pretty much like crippled because of how many times he stabbed her. And then she ended up passing away 2 years ago. But still, every time I think about wine, those two will always be a part of my thoughts.
She passed away because of her wounds?
Because of her injuries, yeah. She ended up succumbing to them after some years. But yeah. And he just recently got out of prison.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not his first time in prison either, whether you know it or not. I can promise you it wasn't, because what you drank was Pruno.
Yeah.
You drank prison wine.
I did, but it was delicious. So every
That's
time I
not
think about
wine.
wine, that's what my
Wow.
mouth, like
Yeah.
my taste buds think
Grape.
it should taste like.
It was grape.
Yeah.
That's all you're thinking.
Yeah.
When you went on to be,
Wow. Wow.
when you went on to become a CEO, did that memory ever like come back to you
No.
when you found them making wine?
No, I never thought about this until I told the story this past weekend, and I was like,
Wow.
"Yeah, this thing sounds horrible when I say it out loud, but it didn't sound that like it didn't feel that way when it was happening to me, and I was a kid."
That's a happy ending though.
Yeah, I mean for me, not for her.
Right.
Right. Well, I mean, you got to go to Napa with this guy this past weekend, and then you guys got to reminisce of how he.
Wow.
Like what?
He was actually the sommelier.
Yeah. He's like, this wine sure is a lot better than that shit I gave you when you were 5.
When
Why's
you're
got all those
5.
sugar packets and Wonder Bread in that bag?
He's like, I'm bored. Let's go kill a bitch.
Right.
Horrible. Yeah, horrible story.
Are
but-
we accomplices to a crime now? I just feel dirty after hearing that story.
No, but it still is a good memory for me when I think about wine. Because I don't even think about the rest of what happens.
I didn't-
I just think about that day playing dominoes, drinking wine.
I didn't think anybody'd be able to clean up me talking about the porn star, so thank you.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I thought I was going to come across as some dirt scumbag, but then, Murder Mary over here comes and jumps in and tells her story of
God.
Knifey Carl and, all's good in Bailey world.
I was just trying to relate to I understand what you mean about being things of the past.
No, I got it. Here's the next one that I'm waiting for, because this is going to happen any minute, is my first stepfather. This fucker's got to die soon.
I don't know why I thought he was already dead.
This dude doesn't die.
Yeah, I did too.
He's like, always the worst survive, right? And so he's 91.
Because how old was he when you were going to stab him over in the Caribbean or wherever you were?
That's what you got from that story, because you're kind of off.
Oh, okay, yeah. 'Cause
No,
that's
he's
the
gonna
last thing I remember of him when you were going to
Stab him
stab
in-
him with the fork.
Stab him in the Caribbean. Is that the new ride at Disney?
You did say you wanted to stab him with a fork, but
Yes.
you didn't.
Okay. The story goes, for those that don't know, my first stepfather, when I was 5, this is in Maryland, he was very abusive physically and mentally to both me and my mother and my brother.
Mm-hmm.
But my brother was older and he only lived with us 6 months out of the year. And he, I as a child, looked up at the staircase, 14 steps up, 14 steps, counted them. And one night just saw him naked, straddling my mother as she sits on the top of the stairs, as blood was just pouring down her face. And he had her hair in his hands, twisting her neck, and says, go back to bed. Go back, because I was sleeping downstairs because I was sick, so I was sleeping in the den. He goes, go back to bed or you're going to be grounded. I'm like, oh, shit. Sorry, Mom. I don't want to get grounded.
Right.
I was such a pussy, right? Right. If I was a real man, I would have fucking gone to the kitchen, got a knife, sliced that bitch.
Real man. No.
You were a
5.
kid.
So I was like, oh, shit, let me go back to bed. So I went back to bed. Anyway, and then I got woken up again because we had to go to the hospital and I had to lie to the cops. So this is what type of guy he was. And he was like this for years, and I don't even know the half of it, like the stuff that happened that I didn't know about. I just, a couple times that I walked in and it was bad. And he was cheating on my mom. He was just a horrible fucking human being. And so, anyway, they got divorced and then we moved on with our lives. And then I had a different stepdad and he was good. He was cool. But I had always said that if I ever ran into him again, kind of already, thinking I'd never run into him again. But if I ever ran into him again, I'd put a fork in his eye. That's what I'd always say. Because it's kind of, because it was so ridiculous and funny, but it gets the point across. It wasn't too serious. It was kind of jokey, because I can talk about, it's fun to talk about domestic violence. I have to talk about it in a joking fashion.
Yeah, it's dark humor born out of trauma, man. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Right. And I've done that my whole career, my whole life,
Sure.
Since then. And so, but I never thought it would actually happen. So the first night of my honeymoon with my first wife, we're in Amelia Island, which is northeast of Florida, North Florida. And we go to this restaurant, and I am such a restaurant snob, and this is what if? So we go to this restaurant and we walk in. I just didn't feel comfortable. I wanted a seat by the water. And I was like, do you mind if we leave and go someplace else? She's like, no, that's fine. Totally get it. I was like, let's go someplace else. So we go someplace else. We walk in. They want to put us in this one seat. I was like, yeah, I don't want to sit there. Can you move us over here? They're like, okay, fine. So like really high maintenance Bailey. Shocker, shocker. But it makes sense, this whole plan, if you believe God, works in mysterious ways.
Absolutely.
We sit down at this table, and I'm facing, it's a little two-seat, well, it's a four-seater, it's a four-seater table. And I'm facing my wife, and they bring out, I had ordered fettuccine Alfredo maybe or something like, I remember it was noodles of some sort. And I get it, and everything's fine. And I go to take the first bite of the noodles, and I hear this laugh behind me. Like, not right behind me, but in a distance behind me. Mm-hmm. And my wife at the time said that I turned pale white as a ghost. Like, I never understood what trauma was. You always hear that people, act a certain way when something triggers something from their past.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you've never experienced it, you just kind of hear it. You just don't know what it's like. You can assume, but you don't. I am probably the only time in my life I'd ever experienced that. And my whole body froze. Like I was a scared 5-year-old.
Right.
Right back to my childhood.
Like, I better get back in the den or I'm about to be grounded.
Right.
My whole body froze, and she's talking to me, and I just hear an echo. It's like it was an outer body experience. So the sound coming from her to me was more distant than the laugh that was probably 15 feet behind me. That got louder. Isn't that trippy?
Yep.
Yeah.
So like the audio from my face is going backwards, but the audio from behind me is getting louder. It was fucking craziest thing I've ever been through. Right?
Well, it's just amazing what the human brain can do and what we're not doing with it. That it has the ability to do that. Like, reality didn't change. It's just the computer in your head said, she's not important. We need all of this audio now. And so it just diverted its energy.
So I snapped out of it. She goes, you okay? You okay? I go, yeah. Just please. I'm not trying to be rude. Just give me a second, please. She goes, are you okay? She thought like I choked or something. I was like, I'm fine. I just have to process something. Just hold on. So the waiter or waitress comes over and saw like that it was like, is everything okay? And I said, yeah, can you do me a favor? That person, and I didn't look, I just took my right hand and I pointed behind me to where the laugh was coming from. I go, right there. Table, and I think there's some women with that person, right? He goes, yeah. I said, can you go check that person's credit card to see if that's Lloyd Cole? And they said, yeah, sure. Which I look back now and I was like, that's kind of odd that they would do that, right?
I know. They normally won't disclose people's personal information like that.
Right.
Here, I'll go look at the credit card and tell you the name on it.
Yeah,
Give me the numbers.
2003.
Yeah.
Give me the numbers and the expiration date and that little code on the back. Give me all that stuff. So I go, oh, shit. The waiter comes back over. And as soon as they started to open their mouth, I said, never mind. They didn't pay with the credit card, did they? Like, how did you know? I said, it because they paid in cash. And he goes, yeah. I was like, fuck. So now in my head, because he never had a credit card, never paid a credit card. And it hit me at that time.
Mm-hmm.
It's confirmed for you.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I can't back down from me. I got to do what I said I was going to do. I promised myself. I can't break a promise to me. Like, if I can't keep a promise to me, who the fuck can I keep a promise to?
Exactly.
So I grab a fork. I do. True story. It's a whole true story.
See, that's why I had the stabbing in my mind. I've heard this story multiple times.
So I grab a fork and I walk over and I stand there at the front of the table, and it's him and these 3 other older women. And I mean, he's in this at this time, he's in his, this would have been 2004.
So 70.
He's 91. Yeah. So he's, old as fuck then. And so I sit there and he goes, hey, he's always, hey, He goes, what can we do for you, young man? And I said, I just looked at him. And the ladies, and then he starts making jokes to the ladies about me standing there. Like, he just doesn't know what's going on. And I said, do you know who I am? And he goes, no. Should I? He's playing this old man kind of thing. And then they start making more jokes. And then the ladies start guessing, making funny jokes too. And I said, ma'am, the man that you're sitting at this table with beat the shit out of my mother, beat the shit out of me, and I'm going to take this fork in my right hand and put it in his fucking eye. That's what I'm doing here.
And I would have been out of Dodge.
That table got real quiet.
Right. I would have been out of Dodge.
And he goes, who are you? Who are you? And I go, you don't remember my mother, Joan? He goes, oh my God, Jason. I said, yeah, Jason. And then I started shaking. I was shaking so bad. And I'm like, you're such a pussy, Bailey. You're such a pussy. And I couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's good. That makes you a good human. Applaud that.
No.
In this
Applaud
story,
that.
did your wife ever come over to the
Yes.
table? Did she follow you over there?
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
next part.
That makes you a good person.
Yeah.
So the plan was that she came up behind him with a knife. And no, I'm just kidding.
Okay, Jesus.
I'm like, the plan was she was going to keep you from
Blood
stabbing him in
goes
the eye.
everywhere.
Right.
Now, so like now I'm disappointed in myself and I'm very upset because I made a promise to me and I like to keep my promises. So now, and then I'm a pussy, and I'm like, oh shit. So I go and I sit back down and I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I can still do it. So let me think this through. And I was like, I probably should not think it through. So I go over and I explain to my wife what I'm doing. And she's like, what? And like, what are you doing right now? We're in our honeymoon. And this motherfucker has the balls to come over to my table and sit down with his drink and start talking to me. And something in my head said, listen.
Right.
Somebody's telling me to listen.
Right.
Shut up, dummy, and listen.
That would be Jesus.
And so I'm listening to this guy talk. And as a kid, I remember him as he was rich, even though he wasn't. But he's a captain for U.S. Air. We live in this big house, which wasn't as big as I thought it was. But he's got 2 boats. We did stuff. I had clothes because I was extremely poor prior. And I thought he was this millionaire, but he was not. But he was successful. He's flying airplanes,
Right.
And I listened to what happened to him in his life. And his life turned out to shit. He lost his job, lost his pension. He did something. He fucked up, became a bartender, became a bus driver. And I mean, like, that's a downward swing when you go from a captain for a major airline to bus driver, right? So again, I mean, this was a very surreal experience. I've had a couple of my life, and I know Nicky loves when I always talk about this faith-based stuff, but I swear somebody's talking to me this whole time. And, maybe it was my grandmother in my ear. Who knows? But, and
Jesus.
or Jesus. Maybe Jesus and my grandmother hanging out.
Maybe. I don't believe she's not up there hanging out with him for sure.
And so I said in my head, if somebody tells me, he's like, look, you don't have to do anything. This guy's already done it.
Vengeance was mine, says the Lord.
And in my head, it's like it's making sense to me. Today, this was supposed to happen because you are starting something new and beautiful, which obviously ended up in divorce. But at the time, you're starting something new and beautiful, and this is closure on that part of your life.
Yep, absolutely.
You're
holding on to something that now you can let go.
My point is that going back to the porn star is that he's the next one to go. That unfortunately, I think I'll have the same reaction.
Oh, it'll make you feel some type of way.
Yeah.
Even though he was
be any day now.
Cocksucker, and I can't wait for him to die. And I want to call him while he's still alive and tell him to hurry up.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
So you didn't let any of that just wash away that day? Like you still feel like you have the same anger as you had before? Because that was the purpose of that.
Well, not the same anger. He didn't stab him.
Yeah. So as you know, I like to hold people accountable.
Right.
And for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. And so I think that people should get what they give. And dude, I just rattled off fucking 3 book titles to you in like less than 30 seconds. Awesome.
Right.
So I think he needs the shit kicked out of him before he dies. And I want to be the one to do it.
Oh, God, you'll
He's
kill him.
90. Like at this point,
You will kill
life
him.
has beat him up. All the things you said that he told you that he had to endure, he got his beating. And I think that's why he sat down to share that with you, to say, don't think that I left the situation and that I did not pay for the wrong that I did to you and your mother. He's already received that.
I know.
So that's not something.
But he never
you should-
apologized.
Oh, he did all that talking and didn't apologize? Well, maybe that's
No.
what you want. But sometimes you just have to be okay with the apology that you will never receive.
No, yeah, well, I'll never receive the apology. But I in the flip, this is going to sound it's like I have, whatever it is when you like your attacker, you become, infatuated,
Yeah.
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm. There you go.
So I would say what you want about me and my flaws, right? But I do actually have some good qualities about me. And one of them is my regiment. And it is being organized. And, if I say I'm going to be somewhere, I'm going to be somewhere. I'm a big fan of being educated and learning. Those are all skills that I learned from this man.
Look at there.
Look at that.
I'm good with the bad.
He instilled in me the importance of education.
Mm-hmm.
He instilled in me the importance of having a schedule. He would not let me go out and play with my friends until I did all of my homework. Because I was so afraid of him that I did what I was asked to do. Which, there could be an argument of like, well, that works. So they would never check my homework, but I would come home and do it. And I would, even at 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, I was telling my friends, look, I got to go do some math, but I'll be out in 30 minutes.
Just give me 30.
Just give me about 30 minutes. Can't do it today. I got to study for a test. Those types of things. So, that all was from him.
Right.
And so there was some good. But there's no way any of that good can be overshadowed
by the bad things that he did.
By looking at your mother with a broken nose and then then you got to lie to the cops when you're at the hospital.
Right.
That sucked. Like no kid should ever endure that, right? It's funny, like when we become parents, we don't realize in the moment because our emotions get the best of us, whatever something that we do might affect that kid for the rest of their lives.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so in his eyes at the time, because I'm a step kid, he's like, fucking move on, kid. You'll live. I'm 48 years old right now. I've, had almost 30 years of being successful in this radio business. I've told the story, never as in detail as what I've just said now.
Mm-hmm.
I've never given all these details for this story. I've told the story in spurts, but never this detail. That I would be talking about it this, 43 years later.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, that goes, I kind of kept that in mind with my kids as a stepdad when, there's a couple things that I regret that I feel that there's got to be a time that I'm going to have to go to my kids and apologize and say, I just got to let you know, I can't let this go in my head. I need you to forgive me because it's killing me.
Right.
But there's never the right time.
I hate that I did this, but I did it. I'm sorry.
That'll be a podcast for another day.
Right.
That'll be a little weepy of a podcast. But anyway.
All parents have that.
Back to the point of the end of this show, this podcast, this episode, is that there are these things that happen, at least in my life. And I don't know. And if they do in yours, please go onto our social media, whatever. It could be my own personal social media at Mr. Jason Bailey. It could be at Listen to the BS, whatever. Because I'd be curious to know if this is a thing with other people that you constantly, it's not a one-off. Nikki's story of the convict and the jail wine and all that stuff, that seemed like a one-off for you. Like I go through this often. When I see things that happen, and the older I get, the worse it gets.
No, the only other scenario I have for that is like when old people that I grew up with childhood, when they die, I feel that way too.
They do what now?
When they die.
Kids?
No, like old people. Like
old people,
my grandmother's best friend and her best church friend. Like these people died over the last year, and those deaths made me feel some kind of way. Not that I talked to these ladies last year, but these were people that were staples in my life. They've been alive since before I was alive. So it was like, dang, she's not here.
Yeah.
It makes you feel some kind of way.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. It makes you feel some kind of way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nelson, you feeling some kind of way?
Oh, I've been feeling some kind of way.
So you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Yeah.
I feel it vibrating through me.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. If any of us is sentimental, you don't think I'm sentimental?
No, that's right. You are kind of a pussy.
Yeah, I feel this way all the time. This is my running temp.
Yeah.
Don't say yeah to him calling you the P word, Nelson.
Whatever. If he can call me a pussy, call me a pussy. What is it? Am I a pussy? If he calls me a pussy, like...
If you say yeah to it.
Okay, then think I'm a pussy.
Pussy.
What do I care?
Pussy.
You confirmed it.
Yeah, you said it.
But that doesn't make me a pussy.
When you confirm it, it does.
Yeah, I was testing you. I don't really think that. I just wanted to see if you think it.
No, I don't think it. But call me one. I don't care. What do I give a shit?
It was a test.
It was a test, and only a test. It was the test of the Pussy Emergency Broadcasting System. All right. You okay?
I am. I'll be fine.
All right. You want to roll some music so we can get out of here, Dougie T? Make it go so we can finish things up. We got things to do. Thanks for joining us. A little loud. I'll tell you when my wife and I start the new podcast. I get an intro and stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to have Dougie T do it. He said he'd do it for me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Just got to write it
Dougie T
out.
on the intro.
He's got that big boss voice. He's got the good voice. I don't have
He
the good.
does.
And I don't want to do it because I want my voice in my voice, but I don't have that voice. He's got the voice.
Yeah.
Right. You know? Right, Dougie T?
Happy to help.
Look at that.
I'm
That's
in.
Beautiful. Silk cords right there, man.
Yes.
Saying welcome to the Empty Nesters podcast.
Welcome to the Empty Nesters podcast.
Oh,
Wow.
go.
Dang.
I like that.
Ever had another man say he got a hard on just by listening to your voice?
Not recently.
Oh, let me be the first today.
All right.
God, I love that voice.
I think
die
what
to have
Doug
that
wants to
voice.
say is he could have gone the rest of his life not hearing that.
Well, I'm not saying me, Doug. I think Nelson is because
Yeah.
I do.
I see his eggplant shirt move. I see his eggplanting.
Oh, yeah, it is, baby.
I'll take a compliment anywhere I can get it.
Look at that. Anywhere I can get it. He's like Monster Jam all the time.
Oh, back up for these words.
That's awesome. Yeah. God, I love that stuff, man. Love that. And I'm not jerking you around either. I love it. I absolutely fucking love that voice.
I appreciate it. Thank
I
you.
love it, man. All right. Nikki, you got anything before we get out?
Monitor your kids and where they are.
Did you say monetize your kids?
Monitor them. Monitor them. Not that my dad was a bad parent, but I should not have been drinking wine and playing dominoes with
Prison
a
wine.
40-year-old man.
No.
Wasn't good.
Was he playing hide the stirrer?
No, he
Yeah.
just taught me how to play dominoes.
You say, have you ever played rub the tanning oil?
No.
Squeeze the weasel. What I took away from this podcast is that you should rule your kids with an iron fist. Fear is the best policy.
There you go. Mm-hmm. It's actually a pretty good thing to take
The
away.
iron thumb.
Is that what he said? You want to see what the iron thumb is?
No.
He goes, you want to get prison punched?
None of those things were said.
You want to go fishing with some jailbait?
It sounds so inappropriate, but it really wasn't.
No, it was very inappropriate.
It was inappropriate, but nothing crazy went down. Like, other than him giving me wine, nothing illegal.
You're right. You weren't assaulted or stabbed.
Right.
Yeah.
Great.
It's like, you want to be on death hoe?
I wasn't molested or nothing.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. I've been protected. Just know that.
Here, I'll put you in here. You know what your last meal's going to be?
What?
Dick.
How did you not see it coming?
I did it. I'm like, Neil, what could it be?
Because it's dark.
Oh my God, so dark.
So dark. So dark. All right. Dougie T, you got anything?
I think your stepdad needs a good kick in the balls.
There you go. That's violent.
It is, but
Doug.
you want to stab him in the eye, so
But I didn't expect that from that guy.
well, he's getting in on it. He
I would
doesn't like abusers.
I would love to know what goes through his brain when we do these. But like he's new to us, and he's going, "Where the fuck are these people from Georgia?
What they have going on?
Like I didn't sign up for this shit. Get me out of here. I got good things to do in my life other than listen to this dirty talk." All right. Anyway, give us a like, share, follow on social media. Listen to the BS. The videos always posted. Thanks to Buddy up on our YouTube channel at The Bailey Show. You can listen to the radio show 98 Rock in Sacramento Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. start time Pacific on the Odyssey app or thebaileyshow.com if you're not local. Of course, you are local. It is 98.5. All right. Have yourself a great, safe rest of your week. Till next time. Bye!
Get off my lawn! It's old man Kevin, and the BS is done for right now.
Please share, like and support.
TheBaileyShow.com.
Now, get out of here.